On next, we're going to Comet Lucifer, episode 2, Under One Roof. And I guess we jump back from when I guess they're being saved by this monster beast mech thing. I still think it's more like a golem than anything.
Yeah, so this episode we start in that underground place.
Mm-hmm.
There's what's his name? Gus, right?
Yeah, I think so, Gus.
Yeah, so you have Gus. He's about to go toe to toe with the supernatural mecha the kids got. And I actually really like this fight between the two.
Right, it was pretty cool looking as far as animation wise.
Because of the shows that we got this season that are like mecha to mecha fighting in the more traditional sense, you have Comet Lucifer, which is CG fighting, and you have Gundam, which is hand drawn fighting.
Right. Yeah.
So it's two varied forms of how the fight actually goes down.
Right, definitely. And I would say that the beast mech, whatever it is, that it's more fluid too when it fights. You can obviously tell it's more organic, obviously, than a machine. I would say.
And well, it's also like a weird little caterpillar thing.
Yeah, I like that little thing. But yeah, so we had Roman and Otto, where they're kind of, I guess they're not, because they're trying to, I guess they're helping people. I guess what you're trying to do right here.
Yeah, so. They seemed actually normal this episode. Last episode, it was like I got flashbacks of Gaston and LeFou from Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, okay, we got a guy here who just wants to marry this girl because his parents said so, and he's chasing after her with a wedding dress.
Right.
And this little lackey who's driving the car is going to literally run them off the road. And I'm like, okay, you guys are really, really cheesy. But this episode, they actually were pretty down to earth.
Well, the thing about those characters is like they didn't have like a character change. Because the little kid Otto, he's like, whatever boss man says, I do. And then the other guy's like, whatever I decide, I do, and I don't think about anything else. So it's like, you know what? You're gonna marry me, okay? Everything is focused on getting this girl to marry me. You know, let's hide this supernatural girl in your house, okay? No complaints. No one says anything. We do what I say.
Well, I mean, it looks like they're setting up the two, obviously, the girl and the guy together, the mains. Because the way they're acting together, I mean, I feel they're pairing those up heavily.
I'm kind of confused who Sogo is supposed to be linked with, because they indicate it's supposed to be with Felia, even though she's like really, really, infantile at this point. But they also have, Kaon having a crush on him, and I'm kind of confused whether they're gonna have Kaon and Sogo together, or if perhaps she's gonna find out that Roman isn't as bad as she thought he was, and they're gonna fall in love or something.
I mean, the show could do something completely crazy. It could not have a romance in it at all.
Oh, come on, you know that's not gonna happen.
I know. I just wanted to say something really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, especially
at this stage, like if we're talking about love triangles and whatnot, like Felia isn't even at the point of she probably doesn't even understand what the human emotion of love is. What love?
But I mean,
what's love?
That could also.
I think they're obviously friends, but I don't think they're at like the holding hands and blushing stage just yet.
Well, I mean, when she was like falling over him and everything, he was like holding under her, being near her, she would blush. That to me usually, it says something. There's something there, but yeah, it might feel a little bit wild if they do that. But I mean, they're still totally setting up like those two as like the mom and dad, and Philly being like the daughter character, especially if they're gonna be living together for a little bit. Something's gonna happen between the three of them. It has to.
Oh yeah, that cracked me up too. I was like, Roman says, "Oh, Kaon, she's gonna live in your house,"
right?
And she's like, "What happened to my say?"
And he's just like totally fine with this. I'm like, if you're gonna marry someone, I wouldn't think you'd be okay with someone, just living with someone else, a complete different, another guy especially. But hey, wait a minute, you would think you'd have a problem with that.
Well, they said it's a betrothal, so neither of them said anything.
Right, it's just in this pre-steps, I guess you'd say.
I really get the feeling that this guy isn't thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, you got to also think about a lot of the stuff that just happened to him. He found this mysterious girl. He fell in a cave. This robot was after him. And the military's after him. So I would think at least thinking about a lot of things besides romance right now.
Speaking of the military, like, this kind of show, like, I feel like the 3 shows we're talking about from Mechanorn, they have very different ways of like setting up the worlds. Where it's like
Right.
Heavy Object is all about front loading. It's like make sure you all understand everything about the world, then we tell our story. Gundam is we're telling our story as we're explaining what happens with the world. And then Comet Lucifer, it's like we're telling our story, and like when we deem it's fit, we're gonna start telling you about how the world works, because like we don't really understand like how the military is structured, like who exactly this old guy is. We just know he's probably up to no good, maybe, possibly.
Right.
I mean, clearly he had like a super special mech to give to Captain Gus, and
Right.
now know Captain Gus, he used to be a war hero, along with his absolutely adorable human experiment psychopathic murderer.
That and his love of alcohol. You know, he does like get drunk before he goes into battle. That's a thing.
I mean, anyone who could have a flask and have a inside a giant robot, they get my respect.
Right, and then be able to pilot perfectly fine without any issues. It seems kind of okay. Sure, why not? But yes, you said in the military. Like you said, he gets a new machine. It's all bright red. I'm like, hey, he's just missing a mask, and he's kind of the char of this series because we also have
I was
Comet
thinking the
in
same
name.
thing actually.
Because red is always like this interesting mech color. It always is like I guess intimidating. It's supposed to be, I guess. But so yeah, I'm wondering about this new machine because he also gets to pick his because we meet another character here in a minute. He gets to build his own team, and I guess we meet Puck, who's this super assassin. I know. I think I saw Irene was talking about Valvrave, how they had LF, who's kind of the same as this character. Give him anything, kill anybody. Don't matter what's going on, what he's got, he can kill you. So what do you guys think of Puck? I mean, I think he's a cool character, but I don't know how Gus is gonna keep him under control. Like, why did he kill Gus? I'm like, what's between these two guys?
Weird. He seems to have like a respect for Gus, and
I think so.
He was like really happy when he saw him.
Yeah.
Even though he felt really scared at first when the guy was looking at him. So I do wonder if Gus has any kind of special powers.
Right.
Because Puck says like, oh, I can't move.
It's probably not a special power. It's just they fought together in the war that they never really explained. So clearly they have like enough history where it's like, this guy, he's cool, he's all right. I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to bite his throat off or whatever he did to those poor saps.
Right.
Well, no, he had a knife. He got it from somewhere. But I was
he took it from one of the guys he killed after he tricked them into shooting their own comrades.
Yeah, but then they say that, oh, he didn't die because of the bullets. He somehow has the ability to take them out of his skin and stop his own bleeding and things like that.
Right.
And they do explain later that he does have supernatural abilities.
Yeah, he's
got a healing factor.
Yeah, he was like, I can just clench my muscles, and I'm like, okay,
stop bleeding.
That's cool.
It's a shame that your whole body is not completely surrounded with muscle, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little out there, but I guess the cliche thing is we are watching an anime here.
That turns into a giant robot. Let's
right.
not reality that much.
Then there's talking caterpillar that turns into a robot. There's all kinds of different things in this series that, not to mention Philia's psychic powers. She can't levitate things, so it's a little weird.
Well,
but
but she came from the sky.
Right. True.
On this strange alien planet that's actually not Earth, so I guess we can't go by our own physics.
Yeah, that's very true.
Alright, so what's the over-under on Felia being Lucifer?
I don't know about that one.
That actually is kind of strange to me, because like when they first show her, you see this like really dark demonic being that's falling from the sky, and then all of a sudden it disappears and it turns into Felia, and I'm like, well, is she supposed to be dark? That's more than likely why the military group is looking for her.
Yeah, I'm thinking just like they have that shot during the opening credits where like she has like whatever her weird dress is made of, like it like backs out to reveal like she's got 6 wings.
Yeah.
Because in some biblical representations, Lucifer has 6 wings. And if she's falling from the sky, well, Lucifer used to be morning sun, then morning star, then he fell from grace. So I'm putting my money on, she's probably Lucifer.
Well, even like, Christianity in the Bible, it's the same thing. Lucifer was an angel at one time. And, he does all that. But yeah, for me, it's more like a maybe she was once this evil being and maybe bumped her head and has amnesia now. Now she doesn't know what she is. So now it's gonna be these little building blocks to like figure out what she really is. You know, is she really evil? Maybe Shogo can kind of take her and maybe teach her how to be a good person. I've seen this in. If you don't know the Dragon Ball Z story, Goku was originally sent to Earth to destroy it, but he bumps his head and becomes kind of a normal person and forgets his little plan to destroy the world. So maybe you got the same thing here where, Philia was going to destroy the Earth one time, or this planet, and maybe forgot, or has amnesia, or maybe he's been in a coma. You really don't know the story so far with her, but
all I know is that
things.
If Philia doesn't even, if at some point in the show she doesn't even come close to destroying all living forms on life, I'm gonna be totally disappointed.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be kind of cool.
For me, I was talking to Skyline about this, so I was saying that I like this Philia we have now, but I do want her to at least get somewhere she can at least carry a conversation on with someone.
Well, yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, she's learning really quickly. She's learning almost as fast as the Pillar Men from JoJo learned.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also I noticed that Mora, the crystal mascot little thing that turns to the Beast Mech, basically she seems to know who Philia is and where she came from. Basically, all about her, at least from what I can assume from the way she talks.
Oh yeah, Mora is clearly like, Mora is clearly like the guardian, but at the same time, it now has like a contract with Sogo because he has that funky crest on his hand.
Right. So there's a little contract deal between so the three of them somewhere. There's like this little thing going on.
Yeah, so it's like Mora is both Sogo's servant mecha, and he's also Philia's guardian. And one other thing I'm not sure is like, do you think they're gonna get inside Mora to pilot, or is that a non-pilotable mech?
I think it's a non-pilotable mech. I think it's more like
have to say so.
I think it's more like a golem or something that she can summon to protect her, basically, or like a guardian. The odds of them getting inside of it, they may do something a little bit later down the road with it. Maybe if it can get bigger than what it is now. I don't think so, but yeah, it'd be interesting what they do with that. I mean, Mora right now is just for me, it's more the mascot character right now. Sort of like a magical girl has a fairy usually most of the time. It's kind of like one of those, I would say. But yeah, Mora, I think like you were saying before, it knows a lot more about Philia than it's really letting on. And
yeah, it's like the QB to Hermotica.
Pretty much. So I mean, I'm waiting for the whole reveal, like you said, what she really is. Is she a good person or a bad person, and why does the military want her so badly? So
I think the whole key to it is probably it back in that legend that was told way at the beginning in the first episode, and where the old guy is telling about the fight between the light and the darkness, and one of them fell or something like that.
Right.
And that also was confusing to me because I thought that, especially when I saw him and then the other guy, I think Jude Price is his name. Like, you see that I'm thinking like I thought they were like a religious organization or something like that, but then they later say that they're the military, and I was kind of wondering if they're like an independent military, because it's interesting that they've never been covered like in any like synopsis for the most part. Mostly it's only been like the main cast characters.
Right.
Again,
and I know about that. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I know from that Roman is the son. He's basically the prince of the land. He's the son of the main leaders, and so I'm like, well, wouldn't he know if the military was up to something, or at least his parents would know? Because he does use that extremely like honorable father and mother term. Like, if you've seen Arslan, he uses the same term, Chichue and Ahave, where it's like, okay, she's not just mother, she's like lady mother person, like high above me. So I'm assuming they are royalty. And I would think that the army or militia or whatever military would be under them, so he would know, at least to a degree, what's going on. But maybe he's going to investigate that or something. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
My interpretation was like, his dad's like the mayor or something. So like, in this like small town, he's the big boss, but like, this military is clearly like bigger than their small little town.
Right, and we also,
possible.
For me, I also, I know that the military is being portrayed as the bad guy, but we don't really know if they're really bad or not. They could
that's what I was saying. Like,
yeah.
These guys, the way the show is working, they'll build the world when you need to know about how the world works.
Yeah, for all we know, the military is just trying to get Felia to protect everyone else from her. Maybe she's the actual threat, and they gotta protect everyone from her, but we don't really know yet. Till, like you said, till they basically allow us to know what's going on. But so
again, that's what. No, I'll just say my last part, which is this is what I really like about the show. It's like Comet Lucifer could go literally anywhere, and no matter where it goes, I mean, I'm not gonna say I won't be surprised, but it's like no matter where it goes, like, I think this works. Like, unless it turns into a total disaster of the show, I think no matter what it ends up doing, I think we'll have an interesting show to at least talk about.
Right, yeah, there's a lot of things going on at once. It's not just one thing, We also had, the end of the episode where Mora transformed was pretty funny. And destroyed half the house. I was just sitting there going, no, don't do it there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jump out a window or something. And then he transformed and all that. But, yeah, Philia kind of using her abilities was kind of funny, too. And the minute she lifted that soup up, I'm like, yeah, she's going to drop all over him. I know it. I knew it was going to happen.
That was really good soup.
Right. I was like, that would have been good, but all over him, that would have been very good. But overall, what did you think of the second episode? I mean, I'll have to say myself a bit, but what did you guys think?
Yeah, like I said, it's just building up more and more potential energy that could explode in a million different ways, or it could just fizzle out and make a little poof sound.
I thought it was pretty good. I have a feeling that it's gonna turn into one of those series where they're constantly on the run from whatever group is chasing them. Basically, because I think this whole, bursting through the roof thing is going to cause a lot of attention to where Philia is now. So they're going to have to probably take Philia and move and run away somewhere. And so they're going to constantly be on the run, and the army and Gus and his group are going to constantly be after them. And it's going to be this, cycle of, okay, we came here, something happened, the military came after us, we fought, we escaped, next episode.
Right.
And kind of like that sort of thing.
And then you have your usual antics. He's gonna walk in on the other girl showering or something like that. And you're gonna have those cliche things. But for me, I get Lucifer. Comet Lucifer gives me the original Eureka 7 vibe. Even with the world building they're doing, that we didn't. Even when I watched that series, they didn't tell you the plot until about halfway through the series, and you figured out, oh, this is what's going on. So for Comet Lucifer, I get the same vibe. It's like Eureka 7 for me. Especially the world, it's not really fantasy, it's not really futuristic, it's kind of in the middle. And I like that even the robots aren't really the main focus. It's more about the characters.
Yeah, they're just jumbling together, a little steampunk here, a little mecha there. Let's just screw it. Let's throw it all at the wall.
Definitely. Even when I saw the trailers for the series, I didn't know they had robots, so I was like, it's kind of interesting. They threw that in there, so because for me, it doesn't feel like the robots would fit. It's like a fantasy world, but it actually kind of fits what they're doing now, so it's kind of cool. But so yeah, overall, like that's pretty good. Comet Lucifer is, like you said, getting somewhere.